2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10 says this: Unless I should be exalted above measure by the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I be exalted above measure. Concerning this thing I pleaded with the Lord 3 times, that it might depart from me. And he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. I tried to do this lesson all by myself. That did not work out very well. Not only when I tried to do, so originally this was going to be about persecution, because that's something I studied last week and I thought it was really interesting. However, that's not where God led me. God led me in the middle of actually failing a quiz to this passage. 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. It's when he brought me to this moment that I realized I can't do this by myself. Cedarville's class is hard, especially DLD. I'm not good at that class. And because it's difficult, and I try often to be a perfectionist. I try to do everything I can to do my best effort, and I often fail because of that. Like in the quiz, I didn't study because I didn't realize it was happening. So then I prayed to the Lord, let me start throwing up or something. Like, let me be sick. Let me just give me something so I don't have to take this quiz right now, so I can study for it and then do it later. Or just change the professor's mind. So that way he'd be like, okay, Caleb, you didn't do well on this quiz, but I'm pretty sure you can do better, so I'm going to let you retake and get 50% credit or something like that. Just give me something better, so that way I can make myself look better. And that was the main problem. I try to make myself look better using God's power, and that's not how it works. So I failed that quiz. It was not a good day. I was hanging my head low the entire time. I was like, Lord, just take this cup from me. Like, just give me a second chance. And Satan used that as a thorn in my side. He like stuck it in and said, you're not good enough. If you can't fail this quiz, or if you're going to fail this quiz, you can't be a good chaplain. If you fail this quiz, which you did, you can't be a good leader. Nothing you do is ever going to matter because you are not good enough to do it. And he's partially right there. Nothing I can do will matter when I do it by myself. But God says you are not alone. I love the way Alistair Begg says this last week, and I quote, "It is only when we discover our inadequacy that we discover the adequacy of God." It's such a powerful statement. It's not perfect, but it's something I believe God is speaking to me right now. That even when I fail, that helps me realize how much more I need Christ's strength. Therefore, most godly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. It's that way. Even when I'm failing, even when I have this thorn shoved in my side, God does not take it out of me. God says, hey, even when you're failing, even when you think something's being jammed in your side, I'm not letting you go. And my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Philippians 4, 12 through 13, and this is a passage most people will know, says this: I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Through all things through Christ who strengthens me. That is nothing I do of myself. It's not saying, oh yeah, we're going to win this sport because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is through the power of God, when you're staying in God's will, through his power, nothing can stand against you. Nothing in Satan's will, in your will, can stand against the will of God. Because his will is perfect. God's strength, even when we fail, even when I fall down and say, Lord, help me, like get me out of the situation, God sometimes just say no. Because you need to learn. My strength is made better even when you fail. God's strength is made perfect in my weakness. And it's only through his strength, his power, his will, that the door is so much better. Things are made wide open. Even when I'm failing, God still succeeds. thank goodness that our God does not let his plan come down to whether we succeed or not, because he's better than that. His power is perfect.